What's going on, guys? It's CJ and we are back for another episode review for Life After Lockup. But before we get started, why don't you guys go ahead and thumbs up this video. Also, make sure that you subscribe to my channel so that you'll be here for all the other reviews that I do. I do a few other shows, but this just happens to be my fave. And also, make sure that you comment on the video as well. Give me your thoughts. If I say something that you don't necessarily agree with, as long as it's respectful, I do welcome any thoughts and comments on the video. And with that being said, we'll go ahead and get started. Now, they titled this episode, which happened to be season 3, episode 22. They called it Big Daddy's Back. And for obvious reasons, because we know that John is now out of jail. But we'll get into that in a second. Now, I do want to start with the most interesting to the least interesting. So we will start with Lindsay and Scott. Now, Lindsay and Scott, they normally fall towards the bottom normally, but today they made it to the top spot because Lindsay found out some stuff about Scott. Stuff that we probably already assumed, but for the show's sake, they wanted to make it known to the public. But we start with Lindsay, and she is still pissed off about the stuff that Scott was finding out about her. Well, with him reaching out to her exes on Facebook and kind of snooping around through her things, reading the letter from that book that she read about basically scamming this man, taking all that he had and kind of moving on like a thief in the night. But she says it's from a book. We still don't know what book it's from, but it is what it is. But anyway, she sees, she's snooping. I guess she does like a background check on him, and she finds out some pretty interesting stuff. She sees that Scott has like a few delinquencies out there. I guess he owes some money to a lot of people. And she also found out that the house that they're living in is not owned by Scott, but he is leasing it. So she was under the impression that he came and bought them a house out here in Mississippi, but he did not. He's leasing that house. And I think that there are like mad trust issues between the two of them. He doesn't really, he wants a beautiful lady, but deep down, he doesn't believe that this woman probably could be really down for him, like that she does have ulterior motives, which she does. And she also feels like Scott probably has something to hide, which he does as well. So they're both kind of finding out something about the other. But what really took the cake was she found one of his old phones in his office. And so she charged it up and went through it. And Scott apparently was getting down with the prostitutes. Scott was buying the cootie cat. Yes. He went and he had solicited these women for money, I guess via Craigslist. Is Craigslist still around? I'm not really sure, but he was like paying $150 for an hour of time. And the lady gave him a $10 discount if he took a taxi to her because she wasn't mobile. She couldn't make it to him. He was soliciting black girls, white girls. Like, it was like everything. Scott didn't have a type when it came to the cootie cat. But anyway, she is just like blown away. She is just so disgusted that, okay, and this was around the time that she was locked up. So while she was building a, I guess, relationship with Scott, Scott was still getting that thing on the side via prostitution. But she calls her mom and she tells her mom, you know, I just can't believe, you know, I went into Scott's phone, one of his old phones, and I see that Scott is buying the booty. And so the mom is like, what? She's like, you know, that's crazy. And the mom just basically wants to know why he's broke, because he's supposed to be this business owner. He's supposed to make this money. But anybody who is on Twitter probably has already gotten word that Scott really isn't who he claimed to be on this show. I won't really go into detail just because I don't want to spoil it for the people who have not kind of been privy to that information, but it's really wild, and I don't think that they will be back next season. I think that this is probably a one-season story and they're going to be done. But anyway, she is just like so mad about this situation, and I understand why she's mad, but at the same time, I feel like she's even more upset because her plan is not going to work. This man doesn't have enough money for you to steal. This man doesn't have any money at all, and it's pretty obvious to what you came home to. Scott he played it up. I guess he thought he would get some money before she made it home, and it didn't happen. But Scott has been lying all this time, basically. And she's just mad that her lies, you know, don't really matter at this point because there's nothing for you to take. Anyway, moving on to the next interesting story, which was Lacey, Shane, and John. We open up their segment with John, you know, getting out of jail, which we saw last week. And he, you know, his friend picks him up with his girlfriend, and he's going to actually be living with the friend. I didn't get the friend's name. Y'all can let me know what it was if y'all really care. But he's going to be staying with him. He was paroled to his house. And, you know, Lacey, we go to Lacey, and, well, he tells us before that Lacey kind of made him think that they would have a future together. But we obviously know how things turned out. He's convinced that Lacey called the cops on him. I don't really think he knows who called the cops on him, because we do know that John has a drug problem, and John probably could have went out because he got arrested on his own last time because he had drugs and drug paraphernalia on him. So who's to say that that didn't happen this time? But he's pretty convinced that somebody snitched on him and got him arrested. But anyway, you know, he claims that, you know, Lacey is out of his life and out of his feelings for good, that he's over that situation and he's ready to move on. And then we go to see Lacey, and she's fixing a snack for the kids. Now, did y'all see what she was making for those kids? She made them some Cheez-Its with some peanut butter. Now, I don't know if that's just like a Virginia thing, or I don't know what kind of thing it is, but we didn't grow up eating Cheez-Its and peanut butter in my house. And I don't know, I guess it would be the same as those little cracker things that people used to buy in the packs with the, I guess, cheese cracker with the peanut butter in the inside. But I just don't think that it would taste the same, because Cheez-Its have a bit of a bite to it. But anyway, I'll get off subject, but I don't think that that will work out. Anyway, but I guess the kids like it, so she made it for them. And I don't know why we saw that snack. I guess they wanted us to see how nasty that snack was, because we went right back to John, and John wants to know what happened. And like I said earlier, he's wanting to know, you know, who called the cops on me. He was calling Lacey, you know, the B word and everything. He's like, did she call the cops on me? That B called the cops on me. And it's just like, Lacey has never said that she called the cops on him. She never said that. If she did, correct me, but I don't recall her saying that. Anyway, we see that, you know, he's back at work at this point. Because again, his parents, didn't they own like the HVAC company? And he's back at work, and he's with his friend. And his friend just kind of wants to know if he has talked to Lacey. And he tells him he hasn't talked to Lacey. But they start snooping on her social media. And he sees, you know, her with Shane. And then we kind of get a back and forth little deal. We see Shane and Lacey at the house. And Shane's just kind of, you know, they're joking and talking about, you know, names for the baby. They don't know what the baby is yet. And they have the gender. She's got the envelope with the gender in it. And he wants to do something really special, because Lacey was like, well, why don't we just open it right now and see? And he's like, no, I want to do something special. This is my first child. And so I'm guessing he wants to do a bit of a gender reveal. But anyway, we then flip back over to John. At the same time, him and the friend, they're like, oh, look at this cornball ass dude. You know, they're talking about Shane, this country boy, and this and that. And I don't know if he's discovered that she's pregnant yet, but I guess now feelings are starting to come back in because he sees Lacey with Shane. Now he's saying all of a sudden that he wants to see her. I'm guessing he wants closure. He wants to know if she called the cops on him. But I'm thinking that, like Shane, he's probably, John and Shane are both addicted to Lacey. I mean, I guess she must be doing some things in the bedroom. I don't know. Have y'all like subscribed to her OnlyFans? Because I thought she had an OnlyFans, if I do recall. She and Shane had one at one point, but that's nothing that I would want to see. So I don't know if y'all have seen it, but maybe that would give some light or shed some light as to why these two guys cannot get enough of Miss Lacey. But anyway, John, you know, he feels like Lacey can't be with the same guy for too long, and he's pretty confident that if he wanted her, that he could get her, that she'll be back, or, you know, give her some time and she'll, you know, come back. But anyway, we move on to the people that got the number 3 spot, and I gave the number 3 spot to Sarah and Michael. Now, Michael is still on the way. He calls Sarah telling her that he's just going to come over. And again, we know he couldn't make it to the court date, but he could bring his tail over to her house because he knows that Malcolm is there, and he just kind of wants to cause more strife, and he wants her to tell him what the judge said in court that he missed. But anyway, he comes in and he shakes hands with Michael and everything, and he's playing with the girls. And I'm like, okay, so why haven't you asked about court yet? I mean, now you're here just like this is just like a normal daddy visit or something. But you're supposed to be here on business. You're supposed to be here to get, you know, the information about what happened to the court appearance you missed. But that's neither here nor there. Malcolm and Sarah are off in the bedroom, kind of giving Michael a chance to play with the girls, as he claims that he wants to do. And Michael just kind of busts in with the baby girl and just kind of hands her to them and goes back off to play with Aviana or Ariana. I'll forget her name, but it's something like that. But they're like playing, and you can kind of tell that Michael is starting to become really pressed about this situation, because he's now asking Sarah, you know, what's the deal? What, you know, what's his issue? He kind of wants to know, am I wasting my time? Because obviously you're not checking him and you're not putting him in his place to where it's not okay for him to just pop up and come around, especially when I'm here. That's just like disrespectful. And Michael knows it's disrespectful, and Michael doesn't care. And Michael and I are from the same hometown, so I wanted to like Michael so bad. I swear I did. I wanted Michael to just be, I knew he had the whole Megan and Sarah triangle deal going on, but I really wanted to like him. But he is so trash, and I am just getting more and more upset with him as the episodes go along. But anyway, now all of a sudden, Michael wants to know what happened in court. I think Malcolm excused himself. He went outside to do something. I don't know if he went to smoke a cigarette or what he went to do, but he went outside. And so this kind of gave Sarah and Michael a chance to talk. Now Michael wants to know what happened in court. And basically, all the judge did was just kind of extend the hearing. I guess he postponed it until another day because he wanted to make sure that Michael indeed knew about it. He didn't know if Michael knew about it or not because they couldn't even reach Michael on the phone. So I guess the judge was just trying to be fair and just decided that he was just going to give him a court date, postpone it, and push it out to a later date. Now, we see at the same time that Michael's in his confession, and he's talking about his confessional, and he's talking about how he's seen custody battles between parents. I'm guessing his mom and his dad. And he just wants to break the cycle, so he says. But you can't even show up. I mean, he tells Sarah that he didn't even wake up till 1 o'clock that afternoon. And the appearance was like at, what, 10? So you don't want to. I don't care what anybody says. You would have had your butt up at 8 o'clock, washed and ready to roll. But it is what it is. I mean, we see that Michael just wants to have that place in Sarah's life, and he doesn't want Sarah to be happy with anybody else. He was okay when Sarah was just single and miserable and kind of waiting on him. But now that Sarah seems to have the possibility of a life with a man who seems like he's decent enough for her and the girls, Michael is not with that. And I don't like that. I don't care for Sarah at all either. But at the same time, I don't like what Michael is doing either. I just think that he is being so immature about this. But what Malcolm basically says is that Sarah is going to have to make a decision. It's either going to be him or it's going to be Michael. And I think that that's the ultimatum that he's going to eventually hit her with before this season is over. And Michael was just talking reckless about Malcolm. He was calling Malcolm, soft. He was just saying that Malcolm was extra friendly. He's a follower. He doesn't see how Sarah could leave a boss like him and then get with somebody soft like Malcolm. How are you a boss and you use women for money and you live off of women and with women? You don't have anything of your own, but you're a boss. But hey, if he says he is, he is. And so then we move on to the number 4 spot, which I gave to Andrea and Lamar. Now, Andrea is talking to the family, and she's basically telling them how Tennyson doesn't want to go to mission. And the family pretty much agrees. Nyla agrees. And Lamar, they all feel like he just kind of needs to figure it out on his own. He doesn't need to be told what he should do. He needs to be able to figure out what he wants to do on his own. And Andrea doesn't like that at all, because Andrea, we can tell, is used to being in control. I went back and watched season 1, and Andrea is like the ultimate control freak. It has to be her way or no way. And she is not having the fact that Tennyson just may not want to go to this mission, or on this mission that she just feels like he has to do, or otherwise he'll go to hell, or whatever she likes to say. But anyway, she comes up with some kind of plan to sell lemonade to the neighborhood to kind of bring the community, to bring Christ into the community. I guess when they come up to buy the lemonade, they're supposed to give some spiel about, the love of Jesus Christ, or whatever she wanted them to say. But she left them outside. She left them outside to sell the lemonade. And so there was just, Nyla, Tennyson, and Priscilla. So they were out there, and they asked Priscilla what she's doing, because she's kind of doodling in a notepad. And I know this had everything to do with production. Production was like, okay, we need to slide this in now, because we need the kids to know where they've been. And so they see she's doodling in a notebook, and she's drawing her family tree. And so she's like, this is mommy, daddy, or whatever. This is my sister, Shantae. And so she kind of lets them know, don't tell mommy, but, daddy took me to see my sister, Shantae, and he doesn't want mommy to know. Now, we know how these kids feel about keeping secrets from their mom. Tennyson couldn't even tell the mama, keep from the mom, that D-Lo was smoking weed around him, and he even sprinkled in an extra lie, like he tried the weed. He might have, I don't know, they didn't show it on camera, but he may have. But anyway, so we know how they feel about keeping secrets from her. So this is gonna come out eventually. And poor Priscilla, I think she's 8. She doesn't need that weight on her of carrying such a secret, especially, even Priscilla knows that her mom is crazy. And she said it, she was like, when she finds out, she is going to be really, really mad. So they all know that their mom is crazy. So then we move on to number 5. And I just gave that spot to Brittany and Marcelino. And theirs is short and sweet. Basically, Brittany is back from meeting with her mom, and she's feeling a little down. So she's outside at the fire pit kind of chilling. And Marcelino comes to her with some Modelo's. They're drinking some beer. And he just kind of, asked her how it went. And she was just telling him, well, my mom asked me for help. She was crying. I can't believe she's staying at the Stardust Motel or whatever the motel's name was, but she's staying there, and it is just a really screwed up situation, and she asked me for help. And Marcelino's standpoint is he doesn't feel like Brittany should really help her mom, which I don't agree with. I understand why he says it, because he doesn't want her coming into the kid's life and bringing drug addiction or alcoholism into their children's lives, which you do want to shield your kids from those type of things. But that's Brittany's mom at the end of the day. And like Brittany said, if something were to happen to her, I'm not going to be able to live with myself knowing that I didn't try to help her, And so Marcelino feels like she needs to basically just leave her mom alone, because his mom was able to get over her addictions. And I don't think it's right. Your mom was able to get over her addictions. So I think you need to give, Brittany's mom that same courtesy, that same support to allow her to try to get over her addictions. Her addiction is an alcoholism, and I don't really know the difference between the two. But I could imagine being addicted to prescription pills is probably, addiction is addiction. I don't even know. I'm not even going to try and compare the two. But your mom was able to overcome her demons. I think you guys should allow her the grace to try to overcome hers. Yeah, keep her at a distance. That's fine. But don't write her off because you feel like she should have her stuff together at this point in life. And so he just basically believes that mom is a liability. And Brittany, you can tell she does not agree, but we'll see how that turns out. And then lastly, we have Amber and Puppy. We didn't get a lot from them either, but we do see Amber, and she's talking to Puppy, and Puppy lets her know that, hey, I'm getting out Friday. And so everybody's just so excited. And Amber tells us that she's attracted to Puppy. Now, were we supposed to forget that the other season that they were on? Because I thought they were like prison wives or whatever the case was, but we knew that there was some attraction to Puppy on Amber's behalf. I thought Amber was, gay or at least bisexual. I knew that she liked Puppy in that way, and I was under the impression that they had, done some things while they were together, but obviously I guess not. And so they bring the phone in, and Puppy tells her mom that she's getting out Friday, and mom is excited, but mom also isn't prepared. Mom's like, I don't even have a bed yet for her. And Amber's like, well, she can sleep in my bed. And I'm like, I thought that's where she was sleeping, but hey, who am I? But anyway, mom just says that, she really hopes that Amber basically doesn't string Puppy along, because Amber may not necessarily be ready for what Puppy is ready for. So I'm guessing that Amber is on the fence about her sexuality, or mom doesn't even think that Amber really wants Puppy like that. But I'm thinking that she does. So we'll find out when Puppy is released. Maybe she'll be released next week. We'll find out. But anyway, that's all I got for this episode, guys. If I left anything out, make sure you leave it in the comments. Remember to keep it respectful. I respect you guys. I ask the same, from you. And anyway, I will see you guys. I'll probably do like a little chit chat tomorrow, and we'll just kind of chat it up and gossip about what's going on in the gossip blogs. But with that being said, you guys make sure that you enjoy your weekend. We're going to do the same around here, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.